Hello everyone, my name is Beckett and welcome back to the channel. And today in Division 2 we are going to be breaking down every way for you to finish out that season pass as soon as possible so you guys can test out those new exotics. So whether you're a PvP player, you love playing with your friends, or you just have no friends like me and you play solo 24/7, we got you covered. But before we get started, if you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe, and if you like the video, smash that like button. Alright, first thing I want to mention, back in TU11, I think even TU10, resource convoys were completely bugged and you were getting something like double or triple XP. Now you're only getting the regular activity XP, so that no longer is a thing, sadly. So we are going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, but there are several efficient ways to get this done. So let's get into the first one. Now we're going to talk about everyone's favorite place, the summit, and it might actually be worth going into, and I plan on going into that at least till I get my exotic from my 5 milestones. So I went in there last night just to test things out right before the patch goes live, and I did floors 1 through 10 on summit, on challenging with 6 directives. Now I ended up getting 1 million XP, that's including all the NPCs that I took out and all that stuff. And it took about 20 to 30 minutes solo, and then I reset that. So ideally, if we're getting all that extra XP from all these new milestones and achievements, it might actually be worth going in there, but I will let you guys know later in the week if it is a thing. But for right now, I'm just going to go in there, test it out, make sure I get my exotic capacitor, and then move on to my other sources of XP. Next thing, let's move into missions. Probably the best mission to be grinding out XP would be Lincoln Memorial, doing heroic on 4 directives. Now, I would do this in a group setting because if you die doing this, you're going to have to restart and you just wasted all that time. Now, if you can speed run this within 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to be well worth it, and you can probably net from 1 level to almost 1 million XP and run this out very quickly. But again, it requires a group, so it kind of sucks for solo players or people who just aren't up to par yet with their gear and their builds. Next, we have activities. Now, if you can chain these activities together, you get about 250k experience for each one, and if you can clear one in 2 to 3 minutes with 4 directives on, it's very worth it, and you'll be getting a level about every 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how fast you can do it and how fast you are. Now, when I'm running 4 directives, just because I don't like running pistol arrow when I'm running a run and gun build, and I do not like the new skill directive when I'm running that with a skill build. So I'll just run 4, you get 100% extra XP, and it's just better because you're not losing time if I don't have ammo or I can't pop a skill. Now let's talk about resource convoys. Even though they are still considered an activity, it might be worth doing if you can get to them fairly quick, especially when challenging with at least 4 directives. It's very worth doing because you can just run, you can kill the first little resource convoy guys, it's like 3 or 4 guys, and then you can run to right where they'll spawn, and they'll respawn the same place every time, and you can finish that in about 1 minute or less. Sometimes you finish like in 30 seconds. It's ridiculous. The most time you'll waste is going back to pick up the resources to complete the activity. You're just going to have to be the judge for yourself, but ideally, if it is taking me more than 10 minutes to get 1 shade level, I am wasting too much time, and I would just rather go to Washington Monument and just do a circle around that and do all those activities, because they just keep spawning as long as you don't have any control points taken over. Now, we also have the checkpoints, and you can do them if you want, but they are very boring, and I am probably going to stay as far away from them as possible. But on heroic, you get about 500k XP, and if you were doing it in a group setting, I would honestly just do the sleeping giant checkpoint, and all you got to do is clear it with a group, put all the directives on, or at least 4, clear it, and then just reset the checkpoint, whoever the leader is, and then just run back, because that is the quickest run from any safe house, and you are going to be leveling up pretty quick in a group setting. You'll notice a lot of the group activities are much easier to level up in, but if you're playing solo, we are still not going to be that far behind. Now we have the black sheep of the family leveling in the dark zone. Now it is not efficient at all if you're not very good at the dark zone or you're not very good at clearing landmarks, but if you are fast at clearing landmarks, you are going to level up fairly quick. I believe just a hard landmark was giving about 150k experience. That's with all the deaths and kills from the NPCs involved, TU12. And when I was doing challenging, it was 250k. All right, best advice I can give you if you decide to go in the DZ. If you're not very experienced in there, just don't go in there. You are going to have a rough time. If you don't have a build set up for clearing landmarks fast, it is going to be troublesome. And I would stay away from invaded dark zones. You're going to have to deal with black tests. It's just that much harder to get through them. Also, if you're planning on going in there, I would go into a less attractive DZ. Like, what do I mean by less attractive? Let's say they are dropping ARs or there's Murakami, something like that, where people need the Emperor knee pads for PvP. You're not going to want to be in there. There are going to be so many people in there. But let's say we see holsters or we see something weird, you know, like handguns. You definitely want to go in there. You're not going to see that many people unless they're just there to gank people. But other than that, there's not that many people grinding out handguns, and there's really not that many people grinding out holsters. Now, the last one, the bounties. Now, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to do the hard and the challenging bounties, mostly the challenging bounties. The thing about it is they are on a daily lockout, so you can only do one, and then the XP is severely nerfed. So they're worth doing them once if you're familiar with the area and you are familiar with bounties, because sometimes you can get lost and you might waste 5 or 10 minutes and it might not be worth it, but it will definitely be worth it going in there and doing it once. They're very easy. Just don't do the heroic ones because you're probably going to die. And the thing about bounties, when you die, you have to restart and you just wasted 10 minutes. But if you can do it and complete it fast, it is very worth it doing it once and just wiping out all the ones in New York and in Washington, D.C. Now, there are some projects that will be worth doing. Like I said, I plan on going into the summit and getting the capacitor. So I'll already be doing the summit project for 30 floors. And there'll be a mission one that rewards almost a level. So you're going to get the 500 XP just for the project and all the XP for the mission. So you're almost getting a level and a half. It'll be very worth doing it, but do not go out of your way to do these crazy projects and get them done. If you can get them done fairly quickly, like the exotic cash one, you can just turn in all those resources and you're going to have a level right when you start. Now, when it comes to my game plan, I plan on running a Hunter's Fury Chatterbox build with Adrenaline Rush. I will leave a card on the build that I am running, and it's quite fun and you can move through fairly quick. If you don't like that, you can always run an Insync build with turrets. That works very well and it's very passive. You really don't have to do anything. You can keep shooting. You don't really have to. If you're running on challenging, the damage doesn't really matter and your turrets are going to wipe out everything. Now, I like to have a game plan, and what my plans are for at least day one is I'm going to hop into the summit right away until I get my 30 floors and my capacitor. After I'm done with that, I am going to start running bounties. I'm going to finish all the bounties, the hard and the challenging bounties right off the bat. And I figure by then, hopefully, maybe I'll be about halfway, maybe about a third of the way. And then I will probably start chain running activities or checkpoints. If I get bored of activities, I'll move to checkpoints and back and forth. It just depends. If I can find a group together, I might do Lincoln Memorial, but definitely my goals are first head into the summit, get the exotic, get all those milestones, and then head and do bounties. Now, if I find out the summit really does do good XP, I'm definitely probably going to stay in there after I finish my bounties, but I have a feeling it's going to be pretty comparable to the other activities and missions throughout the game. Now, that's all I have for you guys today on leveling up your shade and getting through your season pass. I hope you have good luck Tuesday. I hope you enjoy the season. I'm going to enjoy some things. I can't wait till they nerf the optimization station. I really can't, because it's going to happen in D1. And honestly, just have fun. Don't push yourself to 100 if you're not having fun. And if you have any questions, always look down in the comments. If I can't answer it, there is a lot of people who are very helpful in this community. And always, if you're looking for tutorials, builds, news, whether you're an old or new player or everything in between, go ahead and check out my channel. And thanks again for watching.